I'm going to show you how to graph this two different ways. You'll still end up with the same line, but I'm going to show you two different methods of getting there. Now, as it is, my line is in what's called standard form, where the x and y is on one side, and then the constant is on the other side. It's kind of useless just by looking at it. I can't pick out my slope. I can't pick out my y-intercept just by looking at this. So you have a couple options. The one that I like is going in and finding my x and my y-intercepts. Put your x and y-intercept on the graph and connect them, and you're done. So I'm going to start with that method. Now, if you want your x-intercept, you would set y equals 0 and vice versa. Whenever you're asked for an intercept, just plug in 0 for one of the letters, and you'll be left with the other one. So let's start with plugging in x equals 0. By replacing x with 0, I'm left with negative 4y equals 8, which means x is now gone. And I get that y is negative 2. This is my y-intercept. So from 0, 0, I go down 2 and put my point. So if I plugged in x equals 0, this point has an x value of 0, and I got out of it a negative 2. That's my output, so I have a y value of negative 2. Now I'm going to do the same thing with plugging in y equals 0. So this time, y goes away. And we end up with 8 over 3. Now, you don't have to leave it as a fraction if you don't want to, especially because we're going to end up graphing it anyway. So if you do end up dividing 8 over 3, it's 2.6 repeating. So the graph doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to put a point on the x-axis at around 2.7. So this time I got my x-intercept out of it because I plugged in y equals 0. And that's my line. In order to draw a line, you really only need 2 points. So if you go in and find your intercepts, once you have them, you're done. The other option is to convert this into y equals mx plus b slope intercept form. That means y needs to be by itself. So I'm going to start by clearing everything out around the y, or that term containing y. I'll do that by subtracting 3x over to the other side. That leaves me with negative 4y. And I can't take 3x away from 8. I just write negative 3x plus 8. That's the same thing as 8 minus 3x, but we want this to look like slope-intercept form. So I'm going to put the x in front. Last thing I do is divide by negative 4. And then simplify. So remember, you're dividing the entire right-hand side by negative 4, which means I'm doing negative 3 over negative 4. All I can do there is cancel out the negatives. And I have 8 over negative 4, which is negative 2. Now I have my slope, which is 3 over 4, and my y-intercept, which is negative 2. So you start by putting your y-intercept on the graph. Notice it's the same one as the last time I did this exact problem. And the slope this time is up 3 over 4. It's positive. So I'm going to go up 3 from that point that I made and go right 4. Your other option is to start from that original y-intercept that I made. And I can also go down 3, left 4. And that still has the line going in the same direction. Positive slopes have to trend upper right. So that line is going towards the upper right corner of that graph. So these are the same line, believe it or not. I know I'm doing this on a computer screen and they don't look perfect, but they are the same line. So those are the two ways that you could graph that.